Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet. We are going to be casting a Gold League game. It is going to be very exciting because, of course, they are gold players. So there is an equal chance of them doing some absolutely awesome gameplay and them doing some absolutely atrocious gameplay. Not like bronze players where everything is atrocious 95% of the time, and not like masters players where everything is good 95% of the time. Here we go. It's an even chance of either or. Although you can guess that the person who uploaded this game is probably the person who did the awesome play, and the person who was on the other end probably screwed up, which is why I'm not going to tell you who uploaded this game. And also I can't remember who uploaded this game. So that is going to be my intro for this video, and we still aren't anywhere near the point where anything interesting happens, so I'm just going to have to keep blathering on for another few minutes. It's usually around the 4-minute mark, and any commentator will tell you the hardest part of the video is not 20 minutes in where you've got siege tanks and ravens and bloody all over the stuff, doing all over the stuff and drops going everywhere. That's easy. That's the first minute when not a goddamn thing is happening that you have to somehow engage the viewers, because of course that's the other bad thing about Starcraft videos. People tune out after 5 minutes, like after 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. You start watching the video and you start getting bored because nothing's happening. And of course, if you're one of those absolute tools who actually casts a video and skips the first 5 minutes, then of course that makes you an absolute tool, because you're not casting the first 5 minutes. You got to cast the whole thing. You can't just jump into it like 5 minutes into the game. You can't be like some sports watch where it just shows you 30 seconds of a hour-and-a-half game of soccer or something like that, or football if you're watching in the UK. I'm trying to get a global audience going here, but you know, whatever. It's not really going to ruin the video if I say football or soccer, but I do know some people in the UK and they're pretty good chaps, and they like me and I like them, and I played a game of football with them, and it was actually soccer in Australia, and we kicked their asses. And so I say good on you, but I still like you UK guys. It's still all good. And up the top right side, at a record 3 minutes into the video, we are going to start introducing players. On the top right side, do we have a blue Terran player, Doomsday, who has a very impressive sounding name. However, like other impressive sounding names, it could be because he's just that damn good, or it could be because he has to make up for something. And speaking of making up for something, look at that orbital command just popping out. I think this command center is making up for something. It's like can't get the job done without a bit of extra thingamybobs coming up the top and say, hey, look at me, I'm 20% more awesome now, look at this. And I suppose Nexus doesn't really need that. He thinks it's awesome enough by itself. And meanwhile, up the top left, we have the red Protoss player whose name is Dragosani. Dragosani. His name is Dragosani. Because if you say Sanai or Sani or Sanai, then that's the awkward way that a subset of the Western cultures have of mispronouncing names that are probably Eastern in origin. And I'm not saying it's this guy's like a Korean player or something like that, but I'm saying Sanai, like Sanai or Sani or something like that. It's definitely not Dragosani. Dragosani. It's Dragosani. Dragosani. It's, I don't know, it's one of those things, you think you got it, and then you say it a few times and suddenly it just comes out wrong and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? And I'm swearing again. I've got a rule set. I think shit is alright, I think asshole's alright. Bastard is part of my national language, so that's alright. The F word, I'm starting to stay away from. There's probably a few words above the F word that I would definitely get banned for, but I'm going to say this is basically going to be a M-rated movie, so you can say the F word once, and that's it. If you say it any more than that, then you're starting to get into the R ratings, and we do not want to get into the R ratings here, even with the possibility of another command center being morphed into an orbital command. I think we're still going to stay with an M rating, and perhaps we'll try and fool YouTube into thinking it's just PG, because, I mean, let's just get out of there. We've seen enough of that for now. Gateways. We have gateways. We have a robotics facility. We have a mothership core. We have an awful commentator who hasn't commentated any of the action in this game. But to be fair, there hasn't really been that much action in this game. We've got a Hellion coming out of a factory with a tech lab. And I mean, that's cool. I suppose he's got the tech lab on for some reason. He's maybe going into tanks after that. I mean, tanks are good. Tanks are good. Maybe he's... Oh, is he going to switch the starport over here? No? Oh, I so want to see Banshees. I haven't seen Banshees in ages. Ugh, I want it so badly. You have no idea how much I want to see Banshees. Well, he's getting an observer anyway, so Banshees wouldn't have really helped, but... couple minutes before he could have done Banshees. It would have been so awesome. Alright, I'm going overboard here, so we'll try and tone it back a little bit. Tone back my enthusiasm. We are keeping this game rated M after all. And that is M for mature. We'll say mature, but I mean there probably are going to be some kids watching this, you know, 11 and 12 year olds and stuff like that. They're not quite 15, but when has the M rating really stopped to move forward? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Let's be completely honest here. Oh god, I feel like I'm stealing quotes off other commentators now. I feel like I've watched so many. I'll tell you who it is. It's bloody Husky, man. I've been watching him for years, and there's no doubt that I'm going to steal some of his quotes over the years, and I'm going to feel like an asshole doing it because I feel like I'm stealing his stuff. And I know he's probably cool with it, but I know there's going to be some viewer who's really like, oh my god, you're ripping off Husky. You asshole. You have no real talent in yourself. And of course they're referring to a minor part of the video, and I'm just going to be like, you know, giving them the middle finger. That's cool. It's still M-rated, middle finger. We should be fine with that. Middle finger is almost G-rated. You got little kids going in to the little kids on the bloody G-rated films. They're giving each other the finger all over the place, and there's probably got a parent, you know, on IMDb they got the parent advisory thing going on where the people say what's wrong with this video, and you just got one entry in the G-rated video. It's like, this kid gives that kid the finger, you know, not suitable for, you know, little kids or something like that. And you got some sort of overprotective 45-year-old mum who's writing this guide or something like that. And anyway, Colossus coming out from our Protoss player. They both have an expansion. I don't think I've even mentioned the expansions yet, but they both have an expansion. We have ghosts. We have a ghost coming out for the Terran player. There's also some medevac. We've got a Raven. Raven is pretty awesome. I should have mentioned that like 5 minutes ago, although there wasn't one 5 minutes ago, but there is one now. He's going to go observer hunting, and luckily for him, there are quite a few observers to hunt. There we go. Death to the observers. It's like death to the government or something like that. It sounds awesome, even if you don't plan to follow through on it. Colossus coming out. Ghost EMP is going to work quite well here. Do we have any... Oh, excuse me. Ghost EMP is going to do a fairly good job. I think it does like 80 shield damage or something like that. So that's not going to be bad. Still a Colossus here, a bunch of other units, and the Immortals are going to just rip through the Hellions. So I'm not sure if the Terran player can do this. I'm not sure if it's going to work here. He does have quite a lot of Marines Marauders. They are going to be doing some damage, but no, I do not think it's going to work. And here we go. The warp in so fast to bring in the reinforcements. You can see that EMP got off quite well. It even hucked down the Immortals' damage. Did I see a debuff there? It actually prevents the shields from recharging. That EMP? That is freaking sweet. I am sorry. We are going to check that ability right the hell now to see, and I've actually memorized the thing to check. EMP, where's the EMP? Cloaked 100 damage. It doesn't say it stops the shield from regenerating. I'm guessing the shield regenerated because they were out of combat, which is fair enough. But I saw that EMP thingamy-bob. That's probably the debuff that says cloaked units are revealed for a short time. That's what it's got to be, and it was just a sort of coincidence, the thingamy-bob, that the shield started regenerating as soon as that debuff left. So that's what we're going to say. Protoss army is moving in. I don't think the Terran has enough to deal with it. I think the Terran is pretty screwed at the moment, and I think the Terran player is going to get wiped out. Some EMPs, no EMPs going off. Ghosts are going to die. Colossus is going to wipe him out. This is going to be a fairly good game. Sorry, when I say good game, I mean quick game. But of course, quick does not necessarily mean it's going to be bad. Although we do love those 40-minute epics. Although I'm sure most of you probably won't watch the whole thing. And I actually cast a game before. Went for an hour and 40 minutes. Starcraft time. Ended up taking like an hour and 10 minutes to cast the damn thing. Even though I did fast forward through some of it. Because it was just so tedious. But there you go. You have that to look at. Look forward to. Actually, I cast this before this game. So you've already seen it. Or you at least know that it exists. Because I am going to cast it. But who knows? I may start these both at the same time. And this one may finish sooner. Because it's just going to be so quick. Whatever. Raven Bomb goes down. Hits a lot of guys. Is the Raven still alive? No, I think it died. Colossus going in there. Doing lots of damage. Terran's getting out some Vipers. No, they're not Vipers. They're Vikings. And if only he GG's because he realized that he is completely toasted at this point. And I've got to say that his army just really sucked. I mean, he had a bit of hodgepodge all over the place. The Protoss had a little bit of hodgepodge, but not quite as much. He had a very strong Stalker core, and he had Colossus, and he had Zealots. Zealot Stalker with Colossus backup, very strong composition. The Terran had what did he have? He didn't have a Reaper. He didn't have a replay either. I mean, technically he did have a replay, but he didn't have a replay on the field. He had a. It's not a Reaver. It's not a Reaver. It's not a replay. It's not a Reaper. It's not a ray gun either. God, what the hell are these damn things called? Raven! He had a Raven! He had a Raven on the field. He didn't really use that to his full extent. He killed a couple of observers, but he didn't really push with the army. He had Ghosts as well, but Ghosts are great support units. They do not do the damage to the forces that they need to do. So he had support units coming out his ass. He didn't have the core army. He wasn't able to do the core damage. And that, I believe, is why the Terran player lost this game. Good job to our Protoss player. Dragosani. There we go. It's Dragosani. Dragosani. There we go. No inflection at all. You're not allowed any inflection. You can't go Dragosani. Not even that I at the end. It's just Dragosani. Actually, that went down at the end. Let's try it. No inflection. Dragosani. There we go. Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect. He did a good game. Doomsday, not so much. He did not live up to his name. So he was obviously trying to make up for something. And in this case, I would say it's probably for the fact that he didn't build up an army. He was good enough to win this game. Anyway, enough. I'm not going to be casting a game where a full half of the length is me prattling on after the damn game ends. We're not going to do that. We're going to finish Dragosani. It went down again. Dragosani. Dragosani. That's it. Beautiful. We're done. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe.